Hello and welcome to today's Builders Risk Basic webinar. We are very excited that you joined us today. Today we're going to go over some Builders Risk information. First, I want to share or introduce myself. My name is Donna Berry. I am your Builders Risk underwriter. And we also have Jeff Benson, the Vice President of the Builders Risk Program here in the office.
Good afternoon.
So today we're going to go through the Builders Risk Basics, just talk about what it covers. And as you know, during any construction project, it is important to consider the risks the project will be exposed while construction is underway. Fire, theft, vandalism, wind, and other hazards are as much a threat to the project while under construction as they will be to the finished structure. Builders Risk Insurance provides valuable protection. It is a specialized coverage that can be unfamiliar to even experienced insurance professionals. So for today's session, we will discuss the key aspects of Builders Risk Insurance, including who and what can be covered, the policies and options available, and questions that must be addressed in putting the right coverage into place. So let's go ahead and get started. So first, what is Builders Risk? Builders Risk is an inland marine property line of business, sometimes referred to as course of construction. So Builders Risk protects insurable interest in materials and fixtures used during a construction project should the item sustain physical loss or damage from a covered cause. The term builder is actually misleading because insureds can include not only the contractor performing the work, the insured can also be the owner of the structure. Builders Risk is based on a total completed value. So the value on the policy consists of all costs associated with the building and designing of the covered property. This includes the labor, materials, and overhead expenses incurred due to the construction of a building or structure. So a few things to keep in mind when considering the completed value. You want to review the coverage form for any co-insurance clause. That's extremely important when you are writing for the completed value. You also want to consider any change orders or other insurable values for the project or any other limits if you need delay in completion, business income, loss of rent, or any possible changes that could take place during that course of construction. You want to keep that in mind. You want to make sure that you have the right limit for the appropriate coverage. Something else to keep in mind is the overhead and profit. You want to make sure that you consider the profit and keep that as part of the completed value. You do not want to include the land value. You should include the added value of the excavation and landscaping work. So a real simple way to remember this is completed value equals selling price minus the land value. So that's a real simple calculation to keep in mind when you're entering this online or completed the Builders Risk application. And it makes it simple when you're speaking to your clients on what is the actual completed value. And you want to think about what is the selling price and then subtract the land value, and that's the completed value for the project. There's two real common ways that Builders Risk is written, on a per project basis or on a reporting form. The per project basis is a policy per start or per location. So that's one policy, you issue that policy and you're done. The coverage is in place for the term selected and you are done with that policy. There's also a reporting form option. So this is popular with contractors who have numerous jobs going on all at the same time. So they would report that on a monthly basis or quarterly basis to the company, and that the coverage would be in place once the report and the premium are received on time. So these are the two most common ways that Builders Risk is written. Covered cause of loss. Most Builders Risk policies are written on an all-peril basis, or what's commonly referred to as a special cause of loss form. On this basis, the coverage applies to physical loss or damage from any cause of loss unless the loss is limited or specifically excluded. It is extremely important to read your coverage forms. Each carrier is a little different, on what coverages automatically apply or what needs to be endorsed. So make sure that you read the coverage forms and all the assigned endorsements for that policy. Talk about deductible. Each policy will have an AOP deductible or an all other perils deductible. So that's the dollar deductible amount that applies to the physical loss or damage to the covered property. That will be standard on all builders risk. Physical damage from earthquake, flood, named storms, or windstorms, or other catastrophes may have a dollar amount or a percentage. In some cases, a catastrophe limit may apply for earthquake or flood. It is really important to read the forms and to understand the deductibles. Each peril that we listed may have a different limit, and it may have a different deductible. So just cannot stress enough how important it is to read the coverage form and all the assigned endorsements. You'll hear about builder's risk and people talk about residential and commercial. So just wanted to give some definitions or some examples of what makes up these two different classes. So residential, those are the single family dwellings or the 1 to 4 family structures. So the duplexes or the quadruplexes, those are residential structures. Then you also have commercial structures, and that's pretty much anything that's not a single family dwelling or that's not a 1 to 4 family dwelling. So that can be a school, a hotel, apartments, hospitals, really any building or structure. It would either be residential or commercial. And this goes for both ground up new construction and renovation. Builder's risk rating is based off some basic information that you need to have when submitting the business to the company. So we consider this the COPE, which is the construction type. So is it frame, joisted masonry, or superior construction? The occupancy, is it residential or commercial? The protection class. It is extremely important to present and provide the correct protection class when submitting business. And then the exposure. Where is it located? Is this a coastal exposure, a fire brush exposure? So what location? What's the city? What's the county? What's the state? So that applies to new construction and remodeling. That basic information is required. When it's remodeling, the additional piece of information that's needed is the scope of work. So what will be done to this structure? Just need an overview of the project to be completed. If that scope includes remodeling with existing structure, we need the age of the structure, the condition of the existing structure, and then if it's major structural remodeling, additional information may be required, maybe like an architectural letter or structural engineer report. That's for the real major renovation projects. So this basic information right here is needed to provide a rate or an indication for builder's risk. So let's talk about the reasons why to use Victor O'Shinner. It's ease of doing business. You can quote and bind and issue online. This online portal has 15% less clicks than competitors, and the underwriting holds are cleared very quickly. So we took a lot of time looking at, what is the best fit for how to submit business and what questions need to be asked, and we only ask the very pertinent questions to the risk. So it provides a quicker response. Our Builder's Risk program is for new construction and remodeling projects, for residential and commercial, and we offer extreme flexibility on our terms and coverages. So we can offer short-term policies, we can offer policies up to 36 months. Whatever the need is for the client, we are open to talking about to see if we can offer and meet those needs. Our coverage form includes 16 automatic additional coverages, and then we have a dedicated builder's risk team. I wanted to point out the 16 automatic coverages that are automatically included in our basic builder's risk form. So here are the list of the 16 coverages, and the automatic additional sublimits. And a few that I like to point out are the property at temporary storage location and the property in transit. Each are at $100,000. And then expediting expenses is $50,000. And then soft cost at no additional charge, a $100,000 limit is automatically included. Would like to again just to focus on our ease of doing business, our quote, new residential and commercial construction and renovation projects, 15% fewer underwriting questions, and 16 built-in core coverages. And we offer this on direct bill or broker bill. So right now, since we went over, the basics of builder's risk, we'd like to answer any questions that you have. So if you would utilize your chat box on the lower right-hand corner of the screen, and we'll be happy to answer any question that you have. All right, so do we have any questions?
Hey, Donna, a couple questions are coming in. First one is, are goods in transit covered?
Are goods in transit covered? Yes, we do have property in transit is automatically included at $100,000, and that limit can be increased when requested. So if you have a need for higher limits, that is an option, and we would be happy to talk about the rating for that. But yes, property in transit and property in temporary storage locations are both covered.
Okay, next up, what is the max value for frames?
For frame, we can easily take a look up to $5 million. So I have authority up to $5 million and can get a very quick response to you on that, and would love to talk to you about any frame projects that you currently have going on. And that's for both new construction and remodeling. We can go up to $5 million. All other construction type I'd like to mention is up to $25 million. So if you have superior construction or something other than frame, we can go up to $25 million.
Okay, on the included coverages, can you increase the limit?
Yes, you can, and that's something that you can either do on the online portal or on the application that you possibly already have completed. But yes, many of them can be increased. And we still can be very competitive. Even with increasing those coverages, our premium and rates remain to be competitive out in the marketplace.
What is the max limit you can quote for each project and location?
Okay, it would, once again, it'd be $5 million for frame and then $25 million all other construction per structure. So if you have a project that's more than $5 million, and let's just say it's frame, but it's multi-buildings, we can still take a look at that. We need to review the plot plan, the construction schedule. So the total project at the end may be more than 5, but we need to take a look to see what is the PML at any given time. So we need to talk to you about that. So $5 million, one structure, very easy. If it's multiple buildings, we can still consider. There's just a few things that we have to review and talk to you about.
Okay, can you explain soft goods?
Yeah, I think what they're talking about is soft cost, and we can read you the form, but do you have a form handy?
Yeah, it's right here. Yeah, it's right here. You want me to read it all?
Yeah, just read it all.
Yeah, so soft costs, that includes the expenses, reasonable expenses that are incurred during a delay period. So that would be interest on money borrowed, realty taxes, advertising and promotional expenses, cost of additional commissions, architects' engineering fees, legal and accounting fees, insurance premiums. And these are just examples of some of the cost or expenses that may be incurred due to a delay period from a covered loss.
Yeah, the key to this is because of a covered loss, the project has a delay. So what expenses are ongoing even because of the delay? Now the key is it has to be because of a covered loss. But we build in $100,000 into our form, and that can be increased easily. And it is a very misunderstood coverage in today's builder's risk world.
Okay, are policies always annual and fully earned?
That's a really good question. We have extreme flexibility on the term, so we can go as low as 3 months to as high as 36 months. So we can do any term in between. If I did a 4-month quote right before I walked in here because that's what the client needed and it was the best fit for them. So we can really do any term. Our standard is a 12-month term, so when you get a quote from us and you need something other than a 12-month, just let us know and we can adjust that. Our standard is fully earned premium. We can talk about making exceptions on a prorated cancellation basis. So we would just want to know what the project is and talk about the specifics on it. So for the real low premiums, it makes sense just to get them issued and not have to touch them again, but we are definitely open to talking to you if that's a real specific need for you and your customers. So a lot of flexibility with that.
Okay, can you write in PC 9 and 10?
Yes, we do have rates for protection class 9 and 10. We will ask a few additional underwriting questions, but we can take a look at projects going on in that area. So would recommend submitting those through the online portal or giving me a call afterwards and we can talk about rates and the specifics on those locations. We do ask about, you know, water supply on the property and the responding fire station, but it's all real basic underwriting information that you will know being in that, you know, you're more familiar with that area. So yes, we do have rates for 9 and 10.
Okay, can you go over who may be the best prospects? And a follow-up to that is, must I be licensed in every state that the building site is located?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, we do require if you are quoting or issuing business in a state, for a client in a state, that you have a license for that state where the business is located. So if you are prospecting to clients countrywide, let's talk about, you know, the specifics on that. But if you are writing in your state, you should have the license requirements for where the property is being written. And what clients to go after? Anyone building or remodeling. So you can go after, you know, homeowners that are remodeling their homes and they have a builder on the project, or new construction contractors that are building new construction or remodeling, either residential or commercial. Our program is really for any builder's risk within our limits that we've talked about. We will be happy to work with you on. And if you'd like to talk specifics about what clients to go after, feel free to give me a call afterwards or reach out to Jeff, and we will be glad to share any insight that we have for your specific area.
Who is the carrier?
We have partnered with Navigators Insurance, so it is an admitted program. And we are finalizing our filing in California. It has been approved, so we will be offering that on an admitted basis very soon. Right now it's not admitted, but all other states it's admitted with Navigators Insurance.
Okay, do you have an application available that we can send to clients?
Yes, it is posted on our website. So you could go to Schinnerer.com and select Builder's Risk, and we have our 2 applications out there, and I would recommend printing those out and having a, you know, they're a great guide when you're having the conversation with the client on what information's needed, and you can either send that over to me to have processed or enter in through the portal. And I know we just briefly talked about the portal, but if anyone needs access to the portal, let me know and I can give you that access and answer any questions that you have about how to submit business. But if you already have some completed applications on your desk, I can also work off those as well. So we'd just love to talk to you about any opportunities that you have.
We did have a question on how to gain access to the portal, so I didn't know if you wanted to go over it a little bit more in detail or hold off.
Yeah. Actually, you can go to our website, Schinnerer.com, and there is something on the landing page that says Broker Portal, or you can click on the Builder's Risk link, and you will see the option there to access the Broker Portal. And if you have not registered, there's a registration form there that you can complete, and it will be submitted over, and you will be contacted very quickly, and we will get you that information. So you could either do it online, or if you think you have a profile and you just need it reset, you can give me a call, and I'll be glad to look into that and get your profile reset, which is a very quick process.
Okay, can you cover existing structures that are being added to a major renovation?
Yeah, that's a good question. We can do existing structure. For major renovations, we do have guidelines and rates designed for the major renovation projects. We do require some specific information based on the scope of work. So we are definitely open to major renovations. Submit that over for us to review and let us get our information together, our questions that we have, and get, and start the conversations. But yes, we do have guidelines, but we do have some very specific information that we need to collect just to make sure that we feel very comfortable with the scope of work, the builder, and the current condition of the existing structure.
For frame, is the limit 5 million PML or 5 million total value?
So the initial, you initially would say it's 5 million PML. So as Donna said earlier, if there's multiple buildings on a project site, we need a plot plan, we need to look at the adequate clear space between buildings, the length of the project. There's a lot of issues. So I think the question would be, if you have one, go ahead and give us a call. We can talk about it.
Okay, are you able to provide extensions?
Yes, that's a really good question, and we have a lot of flexibility with that. Can't stress our flexibility enough during this training. So at the time that the policy is expiring, we will reach out to you and notify you that the expiration date is approaching, and to reach out to us if you need additional coverage. We do ask some additional questions, or just some questions, very basic, just to make sure that we understand the percent the project is complete, make sure that there haven't been any losses or reasons for the delay. But we do offer extensions, and we offer those based on the need of the client. If they need it 1 month, we'll do it 1 month. If it's 6 months, we'll do it 6 months. With renovation, we do want to make sure that the project is ongoing, so we'll ask some questions, at that time. But yes, we can extend coverage when the policy is approaching the expiration date.
Okay, will you consider risks that have been written elsewhere and may exceed 36 months for completion?
The standard is, we can take a look up to projects that are up to 30% complete. If it's more than 30% complete, we do have some supplemental questions that we would need to collect, understand why it is no longer with the carrier that wrote it previously, and just understand the project. So that would have to be a really large project, and we just would need to understand the story. I can't guarantee anything on that one. We do take a look at projects that are far along, 60, 70%, but we need to make sure we understand the situation and that it makes sense to move it over. So if you have something right now that you're working on, I could look at it quickly and let you know if we would be able to proceed or not. But that sounds like a real unusual risk, and would be happy to take that one offline.
What is the commission?
Our standard is 15% for both new construction and remodeling for all builder's risk.
Can you include general liability?
Not at this time, no. It is just builder's risk, on a very solid form, very competitive builder's risk program.
What are the limits for flood and earthquake given under the builder's risk form?
That is based on zone. So for flood and earthquake, go ahead and ask for it if that's a need. We will map it and we will have a discussion at that point. So it just varies based on the zone. So we need to take a look at where it's located, and we can do that very quickly. And I am available to do phone indications if you need to know, hey, will we offer flood or what's the max limit? Just let me know. We don't want to hold up anything on your end, so we can do that over the phone, or you can submit that and I'll be happy to map it and get back to you.
Does the form include coverage for foundations and grading work?
Yes, it does. That is all included in the completed value of the structure.
Yeah, if you think about it, go back to what's the definition of completed value. The easiest one is selling price minus land. So any site preparation, any grading, any foundation work, basement work, all of that's included.
Okay. When would a non-contractor client not need coverage?
I'll take a stab at that one. So, I mean, I could argue that you always need coverage. It's a relatively inexpensive, broad coverage form. I guess if you were paying cash for something and weren't concerned about losing your assets, which doesn't make any sense to me, but so you should always be concerned about it. And like I said, it's relatively, you know, if you look at the cost per 100 of labor, materials, and overhead, it's a very inexpensive coverage. So everybody should have it.
Okay, can we write in an LLC?
Yes, that is not a problem. So that can be the named insured.
Is testing included?
Yes, our form automatically includes building startup testing. So that is included. And then we do offer some additional testing through endorsement. So based on the specific need of that client, we'd be happy to talk to you. Our form automatically includes what most clients need, so we could discuss that and review the form together to make sure that it's the best coverage for them.
Are there vacant land endorsement options?
No, we do not have that available.
Keep in mind this is monoline inland marine. We don't have any casualty lines at all.
Okay, two final questions. I know we are at our 2:30 mark. The two final questions. How soon do you expect to be admitted in California?
How about this? We'll announce it right now for the first time to a group of agents. We are now admitted in California. How's that? Good question.
Good timing. We're just working out a few things on our end, but we can offer that. We have been approved, so we are admitted. Go ahead and submit it online or give me a call, and I'll be glad to get a quote out to you.
Okay, I lied. We'll do two more now. Is permission to occupy included?
The 90 days or our form includes 90 days, and then we do have some other guidelines, you know, depending on if it's a commercial structure, leased or rented to others. You know, we can go up to 75% of the square footage being leased or rented to others. So we do have some of that built into the form, and then we have additional endorsements available as well. So we can meet the need, depending on the occupant, we should be able to meet the need that they're looking for.
Okay, final question. Can you just repeat the limits that are available?
I'll take a stab at this. So we're very, very good up to 5 million frame per PML per structure, and up to 25 million in any other construction type. If it goes a little over those limits, it's still worth a phone call. Let us know. We might be able to help you out, depending on where the risk is located. But those are the general guidelines as far as what we're looking for, and that's both residential, commercial, ground up new, and renovations, remodeling, both commercial and residential.
Well, great.
Okay, no further questions.
right, thank you, Jillian. All right, great, and we appreciate all the questions, and we appreciate your attendance today. And I just updated the screen to show both of our phone numbers, so please jot those down. We would love to hear from you after this session, just any feedback that you have, and to discuss any opportunities that you have. So thank you for your time, and we hope to work with you in the future. And please let us know if you need anything. Thank you.
Thank you.